Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Veronica, and I want to thank you all for joining today's office hour session. We're excited to have Adam back with us to dive into reports menus. In our last session, Adam shared really valuable insights from his years of experience, specifically how he developed a deeper understanding of filters and their practical applications in different reporting scenarios. I know I personally found the session incredibly informative. I felt much more confident the next time I logged into the app and started applying some of the filters Adam walked us through. So without further ado, Adam, I'll hand it over to you. What can we look forward to learning in today's session?
Thanks, Veronica. Yeah, today we're going to be diving into report menus, which I think is a very underused part of the tool. I'm also really happy to hear that you're getting a lot out of these videos. I have been putting a lot of time and effort to make sure that people are kind of seeing things that maybe they're not familiar with or not comfortable with or didn't know existed. And so with today's session with the report menus, I wanted to leverage them to kind of show you the report menus to allow yourself to filter reports for yourself. And what I mean by that is you're going to be able to create menus that only showcase reports that you want to see in a menu. So your list of reports. The other thing that it's going to provide is a level of security to what reports your users have access to as well. So this can kind of allow to make your day-to-day reporting a lot much easier. Now, as always, as I do with every session, I'm going to go ahead and give some ground rules. So the Q&A following, so there will always be time for the Q&A following the presentation where you can ask questions regarding today's topics or our application in general. But first up, just keep an eye out that the chat section is disabled, so just use Q&A. Veronica is going to be monitoring that to let me know if there's any questions that pop up during the session, because it's kind of hard to bounce back between giving the demo and keeping an eye on that chat. Secondly, once the presentation's over, I'm going to allow people to unmute themselves and ask questions. I would ask you to use the raise hand feature so that we can call upon people in the order that we see that they came in. And then obviously I'm going to turn the recording off once those questions start so that your questions aren't a part of the recording. So other than that, as always, thank you so much for being here, and let's go ahead and get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to switch to my browser. Let me go ahead and bring up the right one. Okay. And as you can see here, if you're familiar with our product, you'll see that I'm in the classic engine. So I'm not currently in the ISI Analytics or the ISI Analytics dashboard or the ISI Analytics report engine. I'm currently in the classic reporting. And if you are in the new engine, there is the handy button that's in the upper right hand corner that would bring you to classic. And what I've gone ahead and done is gone to reporting and reports. Okay, so I have a list of some of my saved reports here. I can click on the green button if I wanted to go into our templates that are available. What I'm going to do first is I'm actually going to go ahead and go into the templates, and I'm going to show you where those report menus live. And so when you're here, depending on your setup and configuration, typically most customers all start out with master and popular reports. The master list is typically every report that's whether it's provided by ISI or some templates that people within your organization have created to share out to the organization. So for example, I have made these 3 Orlando reports. They're weekly. There's a daily calls and a summary report that I shared out to the organization as sampled reports that people can utilize for themselves. Now, during training, I typically talk about how if you're new to our platform or you are not familiar with the reporting tool in general, this list can be a little overwhelming. There's a lot in here. There may be a lot of reports that you may never use, and searching through these and playing with these to try and figure out what you want to do can be a little daunting. So what I like to do or recommend for admins to kind of consider is to create menus. These menus allow you to switch between different sets of reports. So the popular reports is a default menu that comes standard with the system that you can switch to. And you can see here there's a lot less reporting on here. So we've got, detail by authorization codes, organizational detail, there's a tenant billing report. Keep in mind that, again, these are all customizable. You don't have to leave these templates in here because this may not be the reports you want to provide either to yourself or to your users. So let's go and talk about how you can configure these report menus. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to go out back to where we can go into templates. And instead of going into the templates, we're going to click on the gear. Now the gear brings up a lot of administrative options. And so if you're not an administrator of the system, there's a good chance you won't see these options. It's only if you're admins, but it is something you can talk to your admins about perhaps creating for you, or if you are an admin, something you could create for your users. And what we're going to do is go into the report menus feature. Now you're going to see that the master list is here. You cannot remove the master list because clearly we don't want you to lose all of your reports, but you do have some like the popular reports, what is something you could delete and you did not have to keep, nor can, there's a third report menu called Contact Center that has all the Contact Center reports that we've that we put in here. And those all can be removed. We don't have to have those. You can create new ones, but we can also change the existing reports. So for example, if I wanted to go into popular reports, modify this is where it's going to give you the options to add and remove reports. So here are all the available reports that are in the popular reports menu. And here are all the available reports, okay? And so we could kind of, like say, I don't want the tenant billing. I don't need that one. I don't need an agent report per se. What is the other one that I usually say? There's, chunk summary. Maybe that's not something my users for this popular reports menu may need. I want something that really is tailored to what my day-to-day users may need, right? And so you create even the ones that you've gone in and you've like the Chicago one. So for example, I want to add all these Chicago reports. I want to add in all of those Orlando reports. So I can search for them and let's go ahead and add all these into. So now though all of those are in there. So here are all the reports that I want in this menu. Now we have the option to assign them. So the assignment, the default is just to give you access for everybody. Show this menu to all report users, okay? Or you can say, no, actually, this particular menu, and we're going to change this. We're going to change this up. We're going to call this Adams report menu is what I'm going to call it, just to rename it. Why not? Oh, got to spell my name correctly. Let's go there. Show this menu only to the report users without specific menus assigned to them. That is actually a setting within when you create logins, you can actually set up who has menu access. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But the one I want to show you is this is where you can actually assign these menus to specific people. So for example, if I wanted to give this to Tasha, I wanted to give this to Valerie or Josh, they are the only ones that are going to see this menu. And so now if I were to save this, save and close, you'll see that Adam's report menu is not available to, those are not available to everybody. They're only available to the users that I've created. And to showcase that, if I go back out, I go into templates and oh, my report menu is still here because I created it. I'm going to be able to see it. Actually, it may not. I might need to come back out. Let's go ahead and test that. Go into reports and go into templates. It might be because I'm an admin and I'm going to be able to see, yeah. So these are going to, oh, that's right. My account does have report menu access, admin access. So I'm going to see all the menus. However, going back out, going into the report menu, these users, if they're just standard report users, they are only going to see this, and other report users that are not admins are not going to see this. So they're not going to see Adam's report menu if they're not an admin, okay? And so you can easily just create new ones by pushing the plus symbol, giving it a name, assigning in the report menus that you would like to see, assigning who has access to these, and lastly, you can obviously go into master and turn this off so that only admins can see it or people that they've assigned. Okay. We're going to go ahead and save that. So now only admins are going to be able to see the master list, or you can set up the admins that you'd want to see. And so now it's nice. You can actually go into your templates and let's say, I'd logged in with my user and all I'm going to see is Adam's report menu. Then I only see the reports that I've been assigned and no other reports. It makes the life either for yourself of just having limited reports a lot easier, but it also sets it up so that your users can only see reports that have been assigned to them, which limits the data they can run, as well as also might limit like just the questions they might have, because you've truly set them up with, here are the 3 reports that I want you to be able to run, and I just need you to go in these, maybe change some constraints and run and get what you need pretty easily and without any issues. Okay. So let's talk a little bit. Let's switch gears for a moment from the report menus and let's talk about your administrators and your users. And so how we're going to manage that is actually under directory. Now, again, directory is a module that may not be granted to your account. So if you're following along and you don't have access to this may be something that was configured by your administrators. So don't worry, you can always ask your administrators about these features. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into, I think it's Cost Center. There's a folder typically in most systems called Z logins. And this is where we actually put all of the login users. And so when we're configuring a user to log into the product, you're basically going to provide them 2 things. There is a module access portion, which defines whether they're a report user or they're a report admin. Okay, a report user is just going to be able to run reports from templates and that's it. Whereas the report admins have the ability to create reports from scratch, and they can make a template, they can create report menus, they can do batch reporting, all kinds of admin stuff. Okay, and so if they are an admin, they're going to see all those reports, the menus, regardless of assignment. But if they're not, and they're just a user, that's where you can limit those report menus to specific people. And with that being said, as you configure a user to be able to, under their security, to be able to, have access to specific modules, you also have the ability to come into the report menu section and specifically say here, oh, I would like Adam to have Adam's report menu, maybe contact center, but I don't want him to have the master report menu. Okay. And so that is how during setup, when you add a user to log into the product and view, to be able to get in and run reporting, you can set up their access to have access to specific report menus and such and so forth. Okay. All right. So just to recap, let's go back over to reports and let's go into the templates. These are your report menus. They can be configured to have access for everyone or to specific people. You can say what reports are in them and you can change that at any time. You will set that up under the report module in the base report page by going to the gear, going to report menus, and configuring them here. Okay. I know that this one's a little bit of a short one, the demo for report menus, but it does provide some pretty powerful tools to be able to limit your users as to which reports they can run. But that is primarily what I would need to show you for this.